They reserve to right. They reserve the right to bring legal action in the future.
Yeah,
Suing a
I've got
dead
a
woman.
question. How did they,
Where's that
how did
handle?
they determine that a dead woman infringed the copyright in the first place?
Oh, well, here's the thing, Rob. It was an elderly woman who apparently had a thing for gangsta rap, and she was illegally downloading gangsta rap.
It wasn't Rapping Granny from the Howard Stern show, was it?
No, I think she was the one that went by the screen name of Smitten Kitten.
Oh my God.
Yeah, now tell me they got this one right. Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah. They went after this one guy, and he died in the process of them suing his ass off. And
Probably from
they
stress.
probably. Well, they decided that they were going to give the family like 30 or 60 days to grieve, and they would be back to take depositions from his wife and children.
Yeah,
The guy's dead. What are they going to get out of him?
Wow.
They would shake down the family and take whatever inheritance he had left them, I'm sure.
It's worse than the mob, eh?
Yeah, and I had read something the other day about, you know what, I need to shut up and go find this because I laughed my ass off when I read it, about how these organizations work. They give warnings. Not according to anything I've heard or read.
I've never heard of them giving a warning. They just show up with the subpoena.
Mob mentality. That's everything I've read.
Mm-hmm.
It's mob mentality, shakedown, protection money. When they go into these clubs and they say, oh, we only play original music here, well, it's protection money because somebody's going to slip in a cover.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm going to shut up for a minute. I'm going to see if I can find this thing because it's really funny. I laughed my ass off when I read it.
Yeah. Anyway. Rob, your thoughts?
I think that's pretty scary. I mean, that's pretty much like the mob, yeah.
It is.
I mean, you're shaking people down like that, especially people who probably don't really know the law, and they're just probably downloading for their own enjoyment. I mean, okay, granted, point it to them, give them a slap on their wrist the first time, first offense, okay, say don't do it again, type thing. If they do it again, then fine them.
I would say, or even I would even go so far as to say, as far as illegal downloading goes, the price of what the music would have been if they bought it online, okay, which at most places it's still 99 cents, plus reasonable attorney's fees. I'd say that would be good, but not $150,000 per song. Look at what happened to Jamie Thomas, single mother,
God.
and they shook her down, and and they didn't like the first amount, so they took her back to court for the second time. And now it's still an appeal, and it looks like it's going to go for a third trial. I have not been on Ray Beckerman's site recently to get an update on that, but, what the hell?
That's scary.
Exactly, Kev.
Bingo, it's robbery. Yeah, you
yeah,
nailed it.
When is a 99-cent download or $24 worth of... I don't know of any other case where somebody ripped off $24 worth of merchandise and had to pay over $1 million for it. I mean, come on. That's insane.
It's legalized theft, that's what it is, eh?
I have to agree with that, Rob. I think you're absolutely right.
But, back to the original topic here. ASCAP wants their members to donate money so they can make sure that they have protections against these horrible organizations like Creative Commons and EFF, because if they don't protect our music, it will what is it? It will die, or
the music will die, and the loser will be the music consumer.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a more fair system there. What Kev was saying. They're charging fines based on ability to pay in Germany. But even then, you should really give people a chance the first time around if they don't know the law.
I think so.
I mean, not everyone's a lawyer.
Not everyone's a lawyer, and not I mean, as far as illegal downloads, I'm sorry. I think at this point, everybody knows that downloading music off the internet, file sharing is illegal. If you unless you live under a rock, because the RIAA has made it very clear what their stance is in regards to that.
Yeah, there's certain common sense.
Really, as far as like in our cases, a Creative Commons license, I don't file share nothing. I don't even have one of those programs on my computer. But in theory, something licensed under Creative Commons, as long as you're using it for not-profit use, which would include file sharing if you're swapping Creative Commons licensed music with each other, it's perfectly legal. It becomes pirating when people start burning CDs and selling it. And yeah, the Creative Commons license doesn't even apply. But, of course, ASCAP is trying to make it out. It's like, oh, anybody that would use your music under Creative Commons has fangs, and they're 20 feet tall, and they're green, and they go,
Oh, that letter was really, really
that's offensive.
bad.
That's offensive, and it pissed a lot of people off.
It pissed me off. And some of the comments I've read on the internet about it are just absolutely hilarious. These people are pissed.
Well, I do hope the morning coffee was good at least.
Well,
The coffee was damn good.
Mine too, Rob. Thank you. But really, seriously though, I think this is a great wake-up call for a lot of musicians that don't know how this shit really works.
Yeah.
I really think, speaking of being jolted awake, we were jolted awake by our coffee. Musicians were jolted awake by looking at that going, huh? Because they don't realize, hey, this is really how, irregardless of what the rights truly are, this is how ASCAP interprets their rights to the music. And it's like, wait a minute, again, the same argument we've all heard. It's my music. Well, no, ASCAP is claiming ownership of your music. You're saying, our music, our copyright. And what the fuck? You've got these thugs, okay, that are claiming ownership over something they did not create, they did not even know existed until this member listed it with them, and their job is to collect royalties on their behalf, so that how did ASCAP start? Because a writer back in the, who died penniless? Who was that, Deb? You'd know.
Foster.
Stephen Foster died penniless because people stole his music and he never got paid for his copyrights. So what happened was, instead, ASCAP formed to prevent that from never happening again. The hunter, somewhere in the the intervening 80 years, has become, or the hunted has become the hunter, and now you've got, now they're claiming, your royalties, and meanwhile, they're listed non-profit organization, which is total bullshit. Somebody in the government should review that, but that won't ever happen because they're lining somebody's pockets. And
I like the sock puppet.
Yeah, exactly. So now you've got this bullshit.
The Judiciary Committee.
So instead now, ASCAP is claiming rights over other people's creative works, and telling other people to not put their own creative works, to not offer them to the public under Creative Commons. And Deb, like we talked earlier, musicians direct licensing their own music will be next. I guarantee you, especially if ASCAP takes this to court in some way and wins.
Very scary.
My show will die with the death of Creative Commons. The death of direct licensing will kill yours. And what is that? Who loses? I don't lose nothing. I could go to an all-talk format. You could go to an all-talk format. We could sit here and be the talking heads of Blog TV. Who loses? The musicians. Why? Because it is outlets that they will no longer have available to them. Shows like yours, mine, thousands of others that will not have outlets for their music to be heard.
Exactly.
To get exposure, sell music, as Pete Berwick said, so that we could share music, celebrate music. That will die. So who loses? Everybody. Even ASCAP will lose, because they lose, potential revenues, future revenues from the exposure they would get from us today.
And the mainstream radio, what do they play?
Crap.
Mainstream radio is stuck in the early 90s. It's stuck in the early 90s. The genre music is supposed to always evolve. The industry has really just stopped that. They don't want it to evolve. Instead, they want it to be the same thing, because that's what they make money on, because they think that's what people want. They are so wrong. Look at the reaction we get from people at our shows.
I mean, a lot of radio stations, they